Welcome to the Grit of the Matter, where we talk about what it takes to grow through life's unexpected challenges. I'm Denise, and this podcast is built on 5 pillars: grace, resilience, intentional, trust, and thrive. These conversations are for inspiration and education only and are not substitute for medical or professional advice. Please consult your qualified provider for your personal needs. If this resonates with you, be sure to like, follow, share, and make sure to turn on those notifications so you never miss an episode. Now, let's get to the grit of the matter.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Grit of the Matter. Today, I am so excited to introduce another guest to the show. One of the things that I love about this podcast is that having conversations with people who are navigating their own life's journeys, sometimes through unexpected challenges and sometimes finding ways to keep moving forward, right? We just want to do all those things. My guest today is Elijah, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more about his story and what has shaped his path walking in today. Welcome in, Elijah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So what I want to start out with the first question. And what I want to say is for the people that are listening right now, for all the listeners out there that might be meeting you for the first time, tell us a little bit about your journey and what led you to the work that you're doing today, because you have an extraordinary bio. So tell us all about it.
Sure. Well, my name's Elijah. I'm 36. I'm a father of 3 beautiful little girls, 15, 12, and 5. My youngest turns 6 on the 14th of April. I was born in Germany. I don't even think the base that was near where I was born off base, so I was actually a German citizen. But the base that my father was stationed at that time is no longer there. It was in Rhineland-Pfalz, Ruthweiler, Germany. I don't remember any of it, not a single bit. I was only there till I was 4, and I came to the States in '94, right before the internet became commercialized. And I grew up in Tennessee my entire life. A tiny little town called Stewart County, right outside of Clarksville, Tennessee, Fort Campbell, where you could hear those guys training. Back in the day, back in the early 90s, you could actually go back there and watch them training right before 9/11, and then all those gates got shut down. I grew up in the woods, for the most part, in the country. Spent most of my life there. And then in 2012, I decided I was not going to get any older, and I wanted to do my dream job. That was the Army. So I decided that I told my boss when I was working for Budweiser of Clarksville, when I was a merchandiser, I told him one day, I was like, I'm going to go join the Army. And he kind of just looked at me like, are you serious? You're joking. I was like, no, sir. I'm leaving tomorrow. And he's like, all right, we'll see you tomorrow. I guess he didn't think I was being serious. And then I sent him a text the next day. It was a picture of me at MEPS getting ready to get sworn in. And he sent me a text back. He's like, holy. He couldn't believe it. He's like, all right, man. That's awesome. You'll always have a job here whenever you get back. Have fun. And then that was it. I went to MEPS. Got shipped out the next day to South Carolina, where I went to Fort Jackson. And that was fun. They called it relaxing Jackson, but there was nothing relaxing about my stay whatsoever. I went in there overweight. I was at 267. The only reason I got in is because when he wasn't looking, I lowered myself and put my fat neck out a little bit more, and it got that extra half inch in, so it aligned with my waist, and they let me in. I knew.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that makes a big difference, right? Because they go by height and weight ratio to let you in.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was almost at the cutoff. I was almost too big. And I knew it was going to be rough. I was just proud that I finally got in. I was going to finally earn my uniform and wear that flag proudly and be able to wear that Army patch up across my heart where it's supposed to be at.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of work. Those first 2 months in that basic training, I lost a whole 50 pounds. Got out of there at 216. And then went to AIT, where I got into a lot of trouble. I did some stupid stuff. I was a private doing stupid stuff. We had a July 4th weekend where our commander had told us that all of us had to go off post. We had to leave the base and then come back. Just don't get too messed up, is what she said. It didn't happen like that. I went out there and I had a few more drinks than I should have. I got back and they did an open ranks on us, and everybody showed up. And there was 42 of us that ended up getting pulled into the hallway, and we all lost our rank that week. All got a chapter 15, or not chapter. We got a field grade, and we lost our rank. I was a PFC at that moment. The only reason I had that at that time was because of my schooling that I had prior. And then after that, we didn't do too much. I just finished there, finally graduated, and then went on to there was like a month that I took for leave, and then went back to my actual unit in Hawaii, where I
Wow.
got to be in contact with my father's side of the family. I never met them before, and that was fun. I spent 4 years over there, and then we didn't. My unit didn't get deployed. We instead we went to the Philippines when there was a bad tsunami back in 2013,
Mm.
and we had to do some of the cleanup stuff, and then came back, and then shortly after that, well, almost immediately when we came back, they did a psych eval on us. I had messed up and was trying to drink and trying to forget what I had to do over there, and I answered some questions the wrong way. And next thing I know, I was getting psych evals the whole time for like the next 6 months after that, and then they decided that was it. That I had mental disorders,
Mm-hmm.
probably from the stuff that I had to see and do. But
Right.
yeah, after that, I ended up getting out. I got med boarded for that, and then I went home, taking care of my grandfather till he passed away for a few years after that. And then I left and decided to go and chase my daughter's mother, come over here to Colorado. And yeah, I've been here ever since. I was in February of 2019. And I've been out here raising my daughter ever since then.
Wow.
I've dealt back in the Army. I ended up getting messed up a little bit. I didn't have to take any of my immunizations when I first got in. Like when you're receiving, they make you get in this long line, and you get inside this building, and there's a tray full of needles to shoot you with
Get the
stuff.
jab.
Well, when I got up there, my file set had a big red MI on all of my shots, which meant medically immune. I didn't have to take a single one of them.
Wow.
The sergeant that was going to administer the shots was like, "Get the hell out of my face," and put me in the next room. I didn't
Right.
find out until later on what that meant. That was just because apparently my titers levels in my bloodstream are much higher than normal.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my immune system fights off that stuff a lot stronger and it's a lot easier for it. I haven't had a fever since I was like 11, 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've had maybe 3 in my life that I can count.
Wow.
For some reason, I don't get sick. I've never had
Right.
the flu in my life. I've never had COVID. None of that stuff. I don't get fevers. I don't know why. I'm not going to fight it. But then again, I can't donate blood either though, because when I was born in Germany back in '89, there was a mad cow disease outbreak. And it's dormant, whatever it is, in my bloodstream, but if I was to try to donate it to somebody, it could activate it and
Yeah.
become lethal for them.
Wow.
But with that being said, later on, I ended up having to get the flu shot
Yeah.
for something. I forget what it was. The Army gave it to me. They said it was with thimerosal, which is just a fancy word for mercury.
Mm-hmm.
They said it was thimerosal free. That's not the case, because I started noticing that I was starting to twitch shortly after my shot and a few days after that, which didn't make sense to me. I've never had that effect or that problem ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I started going to the hospital. They started sending me over there to get checked. And after a few scans, you could actually see the heavy metal poisoning that had broke my blood-brain barrier, and I've got mercury in my brain now. And so I have a mild form of tics. Every now and then it's like a cold chill, but I can't control it. It's like that. I just
Mm-hmm.
twitch.
Yeah.
It's nothing detrimental to my health or my everyday life. It's a nuisance, if anything. Sometimes it makes me stutter when I go to speak. But as far as that, no, nothing too much. It was just unfortunate that happened to me.
Yeah.
I figured something like that would happen eventually, and then they got me.
Eh.
And that actually took a while for them to admit that I had heavy metal poisoning. It took, like I said, the 6 months of those scans and
Yeah.
images for them to finally be like, okay, it's irrefutable. That's
Yeah.
that's the truth.
Wow.
And
Wow. I mean, that's a lot happened, right? Like, and did that happen after you came out of the military? So you had to have the flu shot after that, or was it during the military while you were in there when you had that shot?
I was during my service.
It was during your service. Wow. Man, that's like, I mean, that had to be because you'd never been sick before, too, right? Like you never had any issues. And then all of a sudden, after you get that immunization, then that kind of like screws things up a little bit on you. And so that
Yeah,
had
it
to
was
be
for me.
a scary ish. I'm not going to say real scary, but it had to be scary because you were feeling things that you'd never felt before, right?
It was really
In a
scary.
situation like that. Man, gosh, that's crazy.
Mhm.
So, well, while we're paused right there, I'll go ahead and ask you another question for your military venture. What was that experience like for you as a young man? And how did it shape how you are today? I know that you said that you went through a lot when y'all had to go and do the tsunami retrieval and stuff. If you don't want to talk about that's totally okay. I don't mind. But if anything that happened with you within your time of being in the military, how did it change you and how did it make you who you are right now?
Sure. It changed my life significantly, my service in the military. That was my dream job as a kid. I always wanted to serve, I always wanted to do my part, and I always wanted to earn that uniform and to feel that pride and show that pride. Um, always wanted to do that. Um, and then the military literally helped me break myself down, remove all that negative life that I had because a bunch of other stuff, some traumatic lifestyle growing up as a kid. Helped me break that part of me and understand it in a much different light, which allowed me to grow and become the man that I'm supposed to be rather than who I wanted to be. It helped build confidence again, self-esteem, learned how to persevere through the hardest of things, especially mentally,
Mm-hmm.
because it definitely puts you there. That's usually where the make or break happens. If you can take that, you're gonna you're gonna do great. If you
Yeah.
can't, then it's okay to step aside.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it showed me some of the darkest times in my life and helped me go back and revisit that and actually repair myself during an extremely hard time career
Yeah.
choice that I chose.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be extremely beneficial and helped me become stronger as a father for my daughters as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely things like that change your perspective, right? They help you change your perspective. And I know a lot of people that have been through the military, and my son went through, actually, he went through basic twice and loved it. I was like, what in the world? But he was like, Mom, I just absolutely loved it. And he was like, just what they have you do, which he's always been one of those that have been very mischievous. And he was like, I always want to get into everything. And he always had that, I don't know what you want to call it, but like he would jump across bridges, like run across bridges and jump into the water and, that adventurous side of him. So it just thrilled him when things like that, when he would do things like that. So he loved it. And I really feel like that does help you change whenever they put you through those things, because you have to make those critically thought decisions, right? Whenever they put you through those things. And then, you know, I know they have reasons for all the things that they do in there. So I think that's a great thing that they do, that when they bring you out and you can literally decide, okay, is this for me or is this not for me? And I think it's okay if you say it's not for you. It might guide you in the direction of where you want to go or where you're meant to go.
Absolutely. There's a
So I
reason why
think
there's
that's,
only 1% of us that are in.
yeah,
Anybody can join, but it's not for everybody. And
yeah,
a lot of people find that out.
yeah. So tell me a little bit about being a dad. You said that kind of helped you build into being a dad. Tell me a little bit about that. Do you want to talk about things that you learned, that maybe the military helped you learn some things that you could roll over into your teaching your children the basics and how to grow and all the things?
Yeah, of course. It helped. It's definitely helped, especially in that area, with integrity. 100%. I think that's something that you must have as a parent.
Mhm.
If you don't have integrity, I think you're actually hurting their growth because you're not showing them what's right and what's wrong, and to always do the right, whether somebody's looking at you or not.
Yeah.
And to feel that, and to enjoy that, and to love that, and build on that instead of feeling the need to perform in front of somebody instead of just doing the right thing. So that always keeps me in check. If I have any wild ideas, remember, hey, put that to the side. You can do that later on.
Right.
Little ones come first, no matter what.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, their happiness and joy, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Always in the forefront.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
respect everything about her wishes, her wants, her needs, her bad days, all that stuff, and to help her build and to help her
Yeah.
possibly give another path or an idea to help build instead of the way I did.
Yeah. And you said you have 3,
Yes. Yep.
and are they all girls?
Yes, they are.
Oh my gosh. So let me just throw that in there. If you have girls, bless you. Because girls seem to have a little bit different on those. And you know me, you know me, so you know that I don't usually say bad days, but we do have those. As women, there's a lot of things that women go through that men don't normally, not that they don't want to understand, but they just don't, because they're not us, right? They don't know all those things. So
Exactly.
bless you.
Still
Being
learning
a
it.
dad of 3.
Absolutely.
And with the ages they were, you separated their ages. So at the ages they are, you're getting nice little stages of all
Yes,
the things. Oh my goodness.
ma'am.
Oh
So
man.
it's been a lovely journey.
Yeah, I bet it is. It's a big journey for any parent, but much less a dad, being a dad of 3 girls. I don't know. I know that you mentioned that you were born in Germany,
Mhm.
but tell us a little bit about that and what that experience meant to you personally whenever you came over. And of course, obviously, again, it added to your military journey because you felt that in your soul that you wanted to be a part of the US military. So tell us a little bit about your Germany, coming over, your journey.
Sure. Like I said, excuse me. I mentioned earlier that I was only 4 years old, so there's not too much that I remember of
Yeah.
Germany. The only thing I can remember is when I got here, everything seemed new, if you will. It was a
Hmm.
bunch of stuff that I'd never seen before. There's significant differences from the videos I've seen on the way I was handling myself as a kid over there versus over here in the
Hmm.
States. I seemed to be a little bit more free, a little bit more happy, if you will, because I was able to
Hmm.
do more, less restrictions. But there was also the thing that caught me when it came to my pride for this country was when I got here. I was starting to become at that age to where things were starting to make sense. Like that's not just a flag. Those
Hmm.
aren't just colors. Those colors were fought to be put on there, and people literally died to put that up there.
Yeah.
And to me, that made that meant the world to me. It's like how could somebody just choose to give up everything and decide that somebody like me, way down the line, is worth it, giving up everything for that. And that meant the world to me. And then my grandfather had served as well, so I always heard his stories growing up, and my dad. And it just my love for this country just kept getting stronger. The more I found out about our history, what we went through, what we did, the horrible things we did, and how far we've come since then.
Hmm.
To me, that just instilled a massive amount of national pride. I was like, this
Yeah.
is my home. This is where I'm going to be spending the rest of my life. This is where I will be buried. This is where if I decide to have kids one day, at that point, I didn't want any kids. I didn't think about it. But if I did, I'm going to make sure that my child was born here in the States. Give her, at that time, I was hoping it was a girl. I didn't want, nothing against the boys. I just figured it'd be an interesting experience because my
Yeah.
life was crazy as a kid. And I didn't want that for my son.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure that my daughter was born here and so that she could tell her kids, I was born American. My father wasn't, but there wasn't anything that's going to stop him from making sure that if he brought me here, it was going to
Yeah.
be here 100%.
Yeah.
And just instill those values basically with her. The pride,
Yeah.
because America is 100% something to be proud of. Every freaking bit of it. I can't say that enough.
Yeah.
This is the greatest country in the world, and I say that humbly.
Yeah. Wow. So with the health challenges that you went through, did that help change with your mindset and how you approach life now, did that help change things for you?
Oh, absolutely. I began to stop using the whole mainstream medicines that I was using to kind of help with some of the pains and go on more of a natural, holistic
Hmm.
approach.
Yeah.
And the change was amazing. Like, I can actually do push-ups now. My wrists are horrible. I can't. I have to usually put some kind of cream or something on it, but changing with my diet and certain grains and
Hmm.
herbs that I've changed and put into my body, I've had nothing but a positive impact. Like I said, I can roll out of bed now and do a push-up without having to wait. It
Hmm.
doesn't hurt. Do I can do everything. I can do everything I normally couldn't do because there was always something lacking, something that was holding me back, something that was in pain or too lazy. I was way too tired when I shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Just had to change everything, and
Yeah.
it has had an impact on me. It's changed my life, but I've learned to adjust.
Yeah. You learn to adapt to some of the things now. I mean, I understand with like pain and things like that, and paying attention to it and working around it and not letting it stop you is one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't. I guess they don't really think it that way. A lot of people think I'm in pain, so I need to stop, right? My biggest thing is that I know in my situation, if I stop, it gets worse. So I always try to tell people that it's like just do a little something. It doesn't matter what it is, just do something that makes you feel good. So I could definitely see like and taking medications, they're okay. I'm not going to say that they're not okay for people that need them, but if it's something that you can do without in the best way that you can, because I take anti-inflammatory sometimes and do things like that. So it's not that I never take them, but
Right. Same.
I do everything that I can to not have to.
Exactly.
So whether that be breathing techniques or, going outside and just breathing in the air and relaxing my body and stuff like that. So, yeah, it makes a big difference. It changes your whole thought process when you have to live that life like that. So you do try to find those means of changing things up.
Absolutely.
So you are on a songwriting path. I don't think you mentioned that part of it yet. So do you want to tell us about that? I mean, I know your stuff sounds good, but do you want to talk about that and maybe what inspired you to want to start doing that?
Sure. So yeah, I finally decided to take off on that recently, as of late last year. I've been writing for a long time. Writing for me was a form of release for the emotions I didn't understand. So I had to find a way to work through my whole traumatic lifestyle and everything I've had, relationships, childhood, being by myself. So for me, instead of trying to talk to some people about it, that didn't really work for me. Because yeah, some people could connect, but I couldn't really get the whole thing across to them in
Hmm.
the way that I wanted them to understand. So for me, if instead of just talking to somebody, not that I don't talk to people, I do talk to people, so that helps. You're supposed to talk and communicate. You don't need to be a recluse, just be by yourself. But for me, writing and then putting music to it and then hearing it, I can actually deliver a lot more emotion and meaning behind what I'm trying to portray or give to the listener or whatever,
Yeah.
a lot more effectively. And it helps me. I can always go back and, you know, affirm or rework on some things that I may be slipping on,
Hmm.
because the stuff that I write about is a lot of personal growth, relationship battles, and it's very emotional, if you will.
Hmm.
It's all about repair, going through it, and not allowing that to keep you down, because you're
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah.
And that songwriting gives me that release, that that warm feeling of, hey, I might be able to help somebody maybe. And So I started trying to show some of my stuff on Clapper for a little while and try to get some feedback on see if if that's anything that I could actually pursue on somebody else's feedback.
Yeah.
And I kept getting a bunch of positive stuff. At first, I thought it was just people trying to be nice. You're like, oh, that's cool. You're doing something cool. That's really cool. Which is nice. But then I started seeing that whenever I was releasing some of the stuff just on Clapper, that it was hitting people a lot differently than what my message was when I was doing it. And to me, that's amazing to be able to see how people are going through it, be able to relate, and they're still persevering. They're showing their resilience. And
Yeah.
then to hear the words of saying thank you for the song and how much it means to them, that I can't explain how much that means to me. To actually feel that it's much more than just, hey, this is just a song. No, it's something that you can actually relate to,
Yeah.
and you lived and you went through. And that means a lot to me. And if anything, that influences me to continue to kind of push my stories out there that everybody seems to be connecting with.
Yeah.
And I've only put 2 songs out since I started doing it on Spotify, and the amount of the feedback that I've got on there and the plays are ridiculous. It's way more than I could have ever imagined. I expected maybe 100, 200 plays, but my latest one just today just hit over 10,000 plays.
Oh my gosh,
Wild.
that's amazing.
Wild to me. And
That's so awesome.
yeah, it's not cheap. Being an independent songwriter or an artist, it's not cheap at all.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of people, that's why you don't see them go so far, because it's hard. It's really hard. It's very costly, and you got to want it.
Yeah.
If I made it big, that'd be awesome. That's the end goal. But I'm at a point where I can continue to do this, so I want to pursue this because songwriting is my life nowadays outside of my little ones.
Yeah.
It helps me a lot.
Yeah. And your songs, your music, and tell me if I'm wrong, but like you can change the way it feels by the tone that you do too. Like if you're feeling one way one day and then you decide to change it the other, you can change the feel of it, right? By the tone that you do. So 1 minute could be just like this solemn or sad, and then you could be angry at the same time. Like you just change that tone. So I can see that, like changing the feel of how you make those emotions come through is extra. I mean, it's amazing. Of course, I'm not one of those, but I could definitely see myself writing things down to talk about because it's hard for me to get them out of my mouth. So, because I end up getting a little bit more tongue tied, I guess, whenever I talk, and it's like, man, I just didn't say that right or whatever. But if you write it down, you can always, that's crazy. Yeah.
Back and build. I rewrite my songs probably about 4 or 5 times before I actually am comfortable with it.
Really, really.
I focus more
Wow.
on that hook because I want the hook to be able to hit and stick out. To me,
Yeah.
that's the most important part.
Yeah.
I tell you a story, but I want that hook to be able to stick. And it's like, oh, okay, so that's exactly what he's trying to put out.
Yeah. Definitely. I think that's important everywhere too, right? Social media and all the things. You really, really need that hook to set in to make anybody just jump and say, "Ooh, this is for me." You know.
In
So
their head long after the song's done.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so is there anything that I haven't asked you that you would like to talk about quickly? I have a couple more questions, but if you have anything else that you want to say.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
No? Okay. So you know that the podcast, people that know me, they know the word behind the grit of the matter. You know, it's intentional. So grace, resilience, intentional living, trusting, and thriving. So when you hear that phrase, what does it mean to you personally, grit? It can have any acronym or whatever, but what would grit mean to you?
I tried writing this down because I wanted to think on that first for a little bit.
Okay. Well, we can move back to the next question if you want to.
I answered it. I just
Okay.
had to write it down when I was thinking about it earlier.
That's okay.
So what I put was grit to me means to be able to pull energy from reserve within to face any and all adversities life has to lay in our paths, to be able to face each battle head on, overcoming obstacles meant to destroy you and push you off the path, maintaining integrity, and having that tenacity to persevere.
Yeah. Great. That's a good way to say it. It's just so important with bringing different people in, of getting their perspective on that. So hearing your story and all the things that you've gone to be to where you are, I think it'll really help people to see if they're even in a similar situation, then you can still do it, right? You can make things happen. You can change your perspective a little bit. You might have I usually say like a stump in the road, or a little catch there that you have to jump over or something like that. But sometimes you can jump over it, and sometimes you might have to just turn and go around it, right? So hearing things like that could open up a whole new world for somebody else. So I really do hope that it helps people relate to the situation, and give someone the encouragement, if they think that they're in this whole journey by themselves, that they hear this and they're like, oh, well, I definitely am not alone, and I haven't been through this all by myself, that there is somebody that's been there. And whether it gives them that encouragement to reach out on the podcast itself and ask questions, or if it's to reach out to somebody that they know and say, hey, I know that this may not be familiar to you, but I know that other people go through it, and might even be able to help them advocate for themselves if they need something like that. So I definitely appreciate you giving all of those things. So if someone is listening today and would need one piece of encouragement to keep moving forward in their life or their business venture or whatever, what would you want to tell them? What would you want them to hear today? If you were talking, and we'll even do it that way, if you were talking to your children, what would you tell them?
I would say life is an interesting thing. It's not going to be easy at all. It's going to be hard. You're going to be pushed down way more than 8 times, but you're going to be able to get up every single time. And I need you to understand that you're strong enough to go through whatever life has to do, physically, emotionally, spiritually even. You can get through all of it. You just have to go through it. It's not easy, but you're loved and you have more support than you realize. Please don't give up.
Wow, that one's good. I like that. So if anybody is listening to this podcast today, guys, listen to this. Now, last thing, this is the last question that I have, which is not really a question, but where can they find you? Whether that's on your social media, your music, your business, or a website, where can they find you?
Sure. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, pretty much any major listening platform that you can find. And you can find me on Clapper, of course, where it all started. My name is Treaty of Tripoli, and that's Tripoli. Yeah, you can find me on there. I have 2 songs out right now. I have another one coming out at the end of this week. I got my sound engineer mixing it right now, actually today. And I'll get that back later on tonight, so I'll have it ready for the release date.
Nice. That's amazing. So for your socials, if you want to tell people how you are on your profile, I know it's probably called something else, but how can they see you if they're looking for you on any of your socials?
Okay. Yeah, it's all the same. All on, except for Clapper. All of them are Treaty of Tripoli.
Okay. Perfect.
And then Clapper is American. That's actually going to get changed. I'm going to change that to Treaty of Tripoli soon.
Oh, yeah. And then they'll know where to find you everywhere, right?
Exactly.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your story. I really appreciate your time and the perspective that you can bring into the conversation and anything that could help someone else with a transition that they might be in. So thanks for hanging out with me for a little while today and giving me that. Do you have anything else that you would like to say before we end?
If you are young and you have no idea what you want to do with your life right now, go join the military. That's just for me. It's an amazing life experience. It'll change your life, and let it, and then enjoy it. I promise it's worth it. And you'll have a job.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for being here today. If this episode encouraged you, please share it, leave a review, and turn on those notifications so we can continue to grow together. Remember, strength isn't about being untouched. It's about choosing who you become in the process. And wherever you are in your journey, you are not in this alone. This is the grit of the matter. So keep moving forward.